So as we look at the long bone, we're going to just start off by writing what type of bones we have in a long bone. There's two types. In the diaphysis, we have what type of bone? Compact bone. And in the epiphyses, we have what type? Spongy. Good. So we have spongy bone and compact bone. And we are going to be looking at compact specifically. So that means what part of the bone will we be looking at? The diaphysis. So we're taking this long bone and we are going to cut straight across, and we're going to cut down and get like a nice little cross section and zoom way, way in. So what we're going to be drawing in this long bone are these things called haversion systems. It's like the building blocks of a long bone. So in biology, you had like macromolecules, and you knew that, for example, like monomers put together make a polymer. You have lots of little building blocks. Here, our building block that's like repeated over and over and over in this bone, microscopically, is called an haversion system. So it's spelled Haversian. And another name for haversion systems are osteons. Okay, when you were taking biology, you might have heard that comparison of like if you have a necklace full of beads, each individual bead would be like the building block, and then all together it's a string of beads, it makes your necklace. So the osteons would be a single bead, and then when they're all together, repeated over and over and over, we get our compact or compact bone. So these are individual units / building blocks that make compact bone. And this is just like right in the top corner of my paper, or the top portion of my paper. I'm going to go down to the way bottom left corner. I'm going to be drawing this down here, so look how like nice and small it is in the corner. That's what we're going to be doing next. So there's like kind of a size portion. So I'm going to go way down to the bottom corner. Again, I'm going to zoom in, but it's actually really small in the corner. And we're going to draw our cross section. So we're going to just be showing like we're chopping this bone again here and here. We're showing a picture of that, and then we'll zoom in. So in the bottom corner, I'm going to do structure. Oh, that should be a straight line. I don't know. So we're going to draw a structure that looks like this. At the bottom left corner, yeah. Okay. That's how I start, and then I'm just going to make a U shape at the top. Okay, so what this is supposed to be doing is like, again, a 3D structure. We cut transverse, so we're trying to show that's like a 3D, like looking back, and then we cut this way. So we're looking into this cavity right here. What's the cavity in the diaphysis called? What was that? Yeah, the medullary cavity. So we're like staring right into the medullary cavity. We can see the compact bone on the side. We're in that diaphysis. So everyone understanding like what we're looking at? It's hard to wrap your head around. Not really? Okay, I'll show you again. So we just cut this bone in half. And when I cut it in half, this is the slice I just cut. So that's showing like some depth kind of there. Okay. And then we cut it down this way, so we're staring right inside the bone. Yeah. Good. Okay. Let's see, what's next? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by showing what's in this medullary cavity. Now, bones, even though they look dead, they are very much so alive and full of living cells. If they have living cells, what do those living cells need? Blood for what? Oxygen, nutrients, all of that. Yeah, so we need to get some blood in here. And so where it enters is through the walls of the diaphysis, this compact bone. So I'm going to start off by just drawing with my red a blood vessel coming in. And it's going to come in and then just start branching. So it's going to branch longitudinally. And then I'm also going to do a bunch of branches all over the place off of this main blood vessel. Okay. So this red that we're drawing, these are called arteries. They're filled with oxygen or nutrients. So I'm just going to, let's see, I'm just going to make a little key. Where could this fit? Maybe turn my paper sideways and make a little key here. So nutrient rich. And you don't even have to write that if you think you'll remember that this is nutrient rich blood if it's red. Okay. Going along with that, we do have waste products produced in these bone cells that we need to get rid of. They're making carbon dioxide and cellular respiration, for example. Some cells die. We need to get rid of that, get it out of the bone. And so that's going to travel through the veins, which is nutrient poor blood. And these veins are going to follow along a really similar pattern to the arteries. So I'm just going to draw like blue tubules kind of going right alongside. Oops, I should have, oh, that's fine. All right, let's see. Okay, so those are our veins. And there's one more thing that belongs in the medullary, and that is nerves. So we also have nerves in our bones, surprisingly. So we're going to use yellow for the nerves. And it's okay if you don't have yellow, you can use brown if you can't see it. But I'm just going to go right alongside where I just went with the veins and use yellow, or you could use brown for nerves. Okay, so I'll try and zoom in on that. And I'm going to make a little key. Nerves, which you can barely read. Okay. The last thing as you guys are working that I'm going to do is just go right down below it and label, what did we just draw again? The what of a long bone? Which part? The diaphysis. Yes, I'm going to label this down below. Diaphysis. Yes, I will post this video for sure. Blue says nutrient poor blood. Yeah, nutrient poor blood. So diaphysis of a long bone, it has three things going through it. The red is nutrient rich, or what's another name for the red tubules? Arteries. It has what else? What are the blue ones? Veins. And what's the yellow again? Nerves. So three things. I didn't leave myself enough space in the diaphysis of a long bone. Arteries, veins, and nerves. And all of these are in that medullary cavity, also in the walls of the compact bone. Perfect. Blue one? Nutrient poor blood. Poor. Yeah, nutrient poor blood. So red is nutrient rich and blue is nutrient poor. Yellow is the nerves. That's all in the diaphysis of a long bone. So now that's still macrostructure. It's pretty big. We could see it visibly if we actually did cut a bone. We need to zoom into the microstructure. So we're going to do what you sometimes see in a textbook, and we're going to make like a little bubble around here, and then those like zooming in lines. So we're going to zoom in right here, right at the cross section where we cut, both transversely and longitudinally, and we're going to see these blood vessels in our drawing as well. So really what we're looking at is those Haversian systems making up this compact bone. We're going to zoom into the compact bone. Can I move it away from this corner, or I'll leave it a second longer? We're good? No, okay. Okay, so I will like keep it in the picture a little bit, but here we go. So up here, we're gonna draw a line that goes all the way to the edge of our paper, like sort of diagonally up slightly, and then a nice big U going all the way up to my words. So I'm gonna zoom my paper way out. Oh, that's as far as I can go. So here's my words. I did like a giant U, and then I'm gonna come down like this. Can everyone see that? It kind of looks like bread. So I zoomed in on this part right here. Just drawing that way, way, way bigger. So the first thing that we see here that we zoomed in on is our blood vessels. So I'm going to start, and I should have left a little canal. Oh, and I should have left a little canal here too. Bummer. Okay. But basically, we have a canal that goes like this, and then another one that comes up like this. And like these lines shouldn't be there. I should have not had those, but you can kind of tell that it still extends through there. And so this is, we'll label that in a second, but we need our blood vessels coming right in from the side. So this is a little tube for them to come in. I'm going to use my blue first because I can see right here my veins right there and show them nice and big coming in. Oops. And we kept it on the right side, so notice that's what we see here. Now we're in the walls right here when I show like this whole portion. So we also have these blood vessels branch into the walls on this side too. So we're going to show that branching into the walls. We're not zooming in on this portion. We're just zooming in on the walls right here. And in the walls, these blood vessels continue to kind of like make their own little pathways and move on through the walls. Okay. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't have picked marker. Okay. And then I'm going to use my red, and right next to that show the arteries. Oops. Okay, so again, we just kind of extended these, all branched into the walls, and we drew the walls nice and big so we can now see those. Alright, and next we'll label a couple things. So first of all, we have this canal right here. Remember, this is not the medullary cavity. This is the medullary cavity over here. We're in the wall now. So this, because it's vertical and it holds these blood vessels, is called a Haversian canal. It's going to be the center of one of our Haversian systems or our osteons. So I'm going to label that right in the bottom corner, Haversian canal. Now the Haversian canal has multiple things going through it. It has blood vessels. We didn't draw these, but what else would be there in yellow? Nerves. And what makes it different from the next canal we're about to talk about is that it's a longitudinal canal. It runs like top to bottom. Now we have another canal right here. They're connected. However, because it runs horizontal, it gets a different name. Same exact function. It has blood vessels, it has nerves, but because it runs horizontally, this one's called a Volkmann's canal. So I'm going to label that one over here. Volkmann's. And these are just horizontal Haversian canals. It's just the exact same thing, but horizontally, so it gets a new name. So horizontal Haversian canal. Oh, we're doing great. What do I want to do? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is around the Haversian canal, to add on to our osteon, we have a bunch of just empty holes. So we're going to start by drawing those. It's basically just going to be holes kind of following the shape of this arc of the Haversian canal all the way around. And if you can say this after me, these are called lacuna. Lacuna, or the plural is lacunae. So we are drawing lots of lacunae surrounding our Haversian canal. Now, like I said, it's kind of like the same idea as a Haversian canal, as a medullary cavity. A lacuna is just a hole. right? So if you looked at under a microscope, you couldn't see the hole, you'd see whatever fills it. It's just like that space. It's like if you look at the ground, you really are like, okay, let's see. How do I explain this? If you cut a hole in the ground, you could see down into the dirt. You don't really see like the actual hole when you're looking at a microscope. That was probably poor, but I think you get the idea. It's just a hole. So we're gonna label that a lacuna, and we'll go right over to the side above Haversian canals. Lacuna, or I'm gonna put an E in parentheses so we know plural is lacunae, and they're just empty spaces. Now, why would a bone want to have empty spaces? Well, it doesn't, because they're filled with something, filled with bone cells. Now, if these bone cells that are in the lacuna die, then you do see the lacuna. It's just left over an empty space where the bone cell used to be. But we're going to color these in green. And this green color is representing, say this with me, osteocytes. Osteocytes. Osteo means bone, cyte means cell. Remember melanocytes. So osteocytes are just bone cells. And they fill these little holes. Now these osteocytes have a job, and we'll talk about that in a second, but to do their job, they need to communicate with each other. And so they have kind of like antennae type things to communicate with each other. So osteocytes have canaliculi. Try that one. Canaliculi. So canaliculi look like little like spider legs coming out of the osteocytes. They're connected to the osteocytes, and they allow them to communicate with each other, to keep each other up to date on what they need to be doing to keep the bone alive, or to keep the bone functioning well. Oops. So what am I drawing right now? What are these called? The little antennae? Canaliculi. Everyone say that. Canaliculi. The canaliculi help what communicate? Not the lacunae, good guess. The osteocytes. So the canaliculi help the osteocytes communicate. And what are osteocytes inside? What's the hole called? What was that? Lacuna. Ready, everyone, this time. Here we go. I'm going to go through it again. Bless you. The green things are called what? Osteocytes. They communicate with each other by these, which are called? Canaliculi. Canaliculi. It kind of sounds like, can I lick you? Lie. I don't know. Canaliculi. And then these osteocytes are sitting in holes called lacunae. Okay? So lacunae are the holes. Osteocytes are the cells. And they communicate by canaliculi. So we're going to label those. We'll first start above lacuna. You good? Oh, yeah. Above lacuna by labeling an osteocyte.
Osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis. Anyone want to answer that? Have like a guess? Something with bone. Yeah, osteoporosis is usually like the